Shavua Tov u'mevorach. Rabbi Akiva here, and Mishnah Yomi is holding in chapter 2 of Eduyot, Mishnayot 8 and 9. Shlosha devarim amar Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva said 3 halachot. Al shnayim hodulo, on 2 they agreed with him. Val echad lo hodulo, the 3rd they did not. So here they are, a sandal shel sayadim. A sandal is, of course, in English, a sandal. But this case, this sandal is sort of a protective overshoe. It's kind of like a big wooden clog that the normal shoes would go inside when the sayadim are working. The sayadim are those who work with sid, with hot plaster. So these overshoes aren't the real shoes. They're designed to protect the worker from the heat or the chemicals that they're using. Rabbi Akiva said, Shehu tame midras. If the worker was tame as a zav or a zava, then it would create midras, since midras is caused by resting weight on a chair or a bed or even a shoe. So he considers this a real shoe, even though it's sort of a protective overshoe. Next, al shari tanur arba. The leftovers of an oven are 4. Now, this doesn't mean Shabbos leftovers that you eat for 4 days. It means when an oven got tame, got ritually impure from something tuma inside of it, they would have to break it. Their ovens were made like a pot with no bottom, cemented to the ground. We saw in Masechet Shabbat, some of them were made sort of like a volcano shape to harness the heat better. But you can't really rip it up and take it to the mikveh. It's a kli cheres anyway, and it's probably going to break anyway, so they would actually break it in place. So how broken is actually broken? Because if it's still a kli, it's still tame. But if it's broken, it's not tame anymore. So Rabbi Akiva is saying if only 4 tefachim remain of this oven, it is now broken. Shahayu omrim shlosha. The sages used to say it was 3. They would say it needs to be broken down to the level that only 3 tefachim remain, and then it has no use, and then it is totally broken. V'hodulo, but the sages agree that 4 tefachim is considered broken. Well, echad lo hodulo. On one thing they did not agree to Rabbi Akiva, al kisei, a chair, shenitlu shnayim mechapuyev. The 2 of the seating sections, ze besad ze, were removed. Now, how they made this chair is it's kind of like a box sitting on the floor, and then they put some sort of boards or cushions on top of it. There's 3 of them. If you take off 2 of them, you know, the one in the middle and one on the side, then it's really impossible to sit on. So Rabbi Akiva metame. Rabbi Akiva says it's still tame because really you still have like the storage space. It's hard to sit on, but you still have that storage space inside this box chair that's still usable. The sages say it's not really usable as a chair anymore, so we don't really care if you can use it as a box. It's now considered tahor. On to Mishnah 9, Mishnah Tet. Hu haya omer Rabbi Akiva would say, Ha'av, the father, zoche leben, can give to the son as a zechut, benoi, his beauty, his koach, his strength, osher, wealth, chokhmah, wisdom, vishonim, and also longevity, years of life. Now, the Bartner explains this might mean on a genetic level that sons take after their father, but it also means on a level of zechut. If the father is learning Torah, learning Mishnah Yomi, doing mitzvot, involved in the community, then it improves his children's chances of being blessed by Hashem through the actions of the parents. And of course, it's not merely fathers, but especially mothers. And I've heard a shiur from Rav Avigdor Miller Zatzal, who said that especially mothers have a power to pray for their children and grandchildren that is especially acute, that mothers have a real advantage even over fathers. He actually advises you could even fast once a week, both mothers and fathers, just to pray for your children, and it would have tremendous effects, but especially when mothers and grandmothers are praying. And the Mishnah adds, Ubemispar hadorot lefanav v'hu haketz. And there could be a number of generations before him, but this person is the end of the line. Now, what this means is Hashem might have realized that there's an ancestor, a father, a grandfather, an alter zedi, who has done something that's worth rewarding, but maybe the reward shouldn't come right now. It should come in a few generations down the line. And this son, this grandson, is the kates. He's the end of the line where the promise is going to come true, and he will get the reward from many generations before. Shenemar, Pasuk in Yeshayahu says, Kore hadorot merosh. Hashem calls the generations from the beginning. So Hashem could consider the actions of one generation and bring a reward in a future generation to the descendants. The Mishnah adds, Afal Pesha Namar, even though it's written, Va'avodum ve'inu otam arba meot shana. And this is back in Bereshis, chapter 15, talking about how the Jews are going to go into Egypt for 400 years. They will serve them and oppress them for 400 years. But it also says, V'namar dor revi'i yeshuvu hena. The fourth generation in exile will return here to Eretz Yisrael. Remember, this is Hashem talking to Abraham in Eretz Yisrael. So there was a limit. There could have been slavery for up to 400 years, but there's also limited by the fourth generation will be given the merit, starting from Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, the fourth generation will have a merit to come back, even if it hasn't been 400 years, and Lama'aseh, it was actually 210 years. And it's really worth giving some thought and some heart to the fact that maybe all of the advantages and joys we have right now are due to our parents, grandparents, our ancestors, our great davening for us, davening for their descendants hundreds of years ago. So that gives us the responsibility right now to daven for our descendants so they will have hatzlacha and bracha in the decades and centuries to come. Yishar kochachem, tisku l'mitzvot.